Look at your monster face. No man will ever love you again, the father spat, slamming the door as his 12-year-old daughter clutched her reflection in the cracked hallway mirror. Tears streamed down her cheeks. She wiped them with the back of her hand and turned away from the glass. In a cramped Cairo apartment, the father, once a respected tailor, now reduced to mending clothes for pennies, spent 2 decades drowning in regret he refused to acknowledge. His daughter, Layla, vanished at 18 after years of enduring his cruelty. He called her the disgrace, mocked her dreams of modeling, and burned her first photo portfolio in the kitchen sink, the smoke filling the small room. Unknown to him, she'd clawed her way from homeless shelters to Parisian runways. Her success, a silent rebellion built on the foundation of his harsh words. Before continuing, if you believe a parent's words can shape a child's future, hit that like button and subscribe right now. The father walked slowly through the bustling market street, his worn leather bag bumping against his leg. He stopped at the small kiosk to buy his usual loaf of bread and a newspaper. The cashier, a young man with bright eyes, held up a magazine. "Look, uncle," the cashier said, excitement in his voice. "Layla Hassan, she's on the cover of Vogue. Our own Egyptian girl." The father glanced at the cover. A woman with striking eyes stared out from the glossy page. He froze. His breath caught in his throat. "Your daughter?" "Yes," the cashier asked, smiling widely. "She's Egypt's pride. Everyone is talking about her." The father's hands began to shake. He fumbled for the coins in his pocket. "No," he said, his voice rough. "That's not her." He paid for the bread, his eyes fixed on the magazine cover. The woman's face, it was Layla. Older, transformed, but it was her. He grabbed the magazine from the cashier's hand. "Keep the change," he mumbled, shoving the bread into his bag. He turned and hurried away. The magazine clutched tight. He walked faster, pushing through the crowds, ignoring the calls of vendors. He reached his apartment building, climbed the stairs, his legs aching. Inside his small, stuffy apartment, he locked the door and leaned against it, panting. He walked to the worn armchair and sank into it. He held the magazine up to the dim light from the window. Layla Hassan, beauty beyond borders. Her face, it was flawless, confident, unrecognizable, yet undeniably hers. He traced her image with a trembling finger. 20 years of silence, of telling himself she was better off without him, of burying the guilt under layers of pride and denial. He stood up abruptly, the magazine falling to the floor. He paced the small room, his mind racing. He had to talk to her. He had to explain, apologize. But what could he say? What words could possibly erase 20 years of calling her a disgrace? He stopped by the old wooden desk. He pulled open drawers, searching for his old address book. He needed Nadia's number, Layla's friend. Maybe Nadia knew how to reach her. He found the dusty book and flipped through the brittle pages. Nadia Ahmed, there it was. He picked up the old rotary phone. His hand hovered over the dial. Doubt gnawed at him. What if she refused to talk to him? What if she hated him? He pushed the thoughts away. He had to try. He dialed the number. It rang and rang. Finally, someone answered. "Hello," a woman's voice said. It sounded like Nadia, but older, sharper. "Nadia," the father said, his voice hoarse. It's Layla's father. Silence on the other end. A long, heavy silence. "What do you want?" Nadia's voice was cold, devoid of warmth. I saw the magazine," he stammered. "Layla, she's so beautiful, so successful. I wanted to tell her, just a wink at. I'm proud of her." A short, sharp laugh came through the receiver. "Proud?" Nadia scoffed. "You? After everything?" "I made mistakes," he said, his voice pleading. "I was wrong. I want to make amends. Can you give me her number? Just let me talk to her." "She changed her number," Nadia said. Her voice was flat now, final. "And her name? She doesn't use the name you gave her anymore." "But I am her father," he cried out. "You stopped being her father a long time ago," Nadia said. "The day you called her a disgrace, the day you burned her dreams. She built this life to outrun you, to prove you wrong. You're dead to her. Please, Nadia," he begged. "Just tell her I'm sorry. Tell her I regret everything." "Sorry?" Nadia repeated, her voice rising slightly. "Regret? You have no idea what she went through because of you. The years of struggling, the years of believing she was worthless because her own father told her so." "I didn't mean it," he said, though he knew it was a lie. He had meant it then. "It doesn't matter what you meant," Nadia said. "It matters what you did, what you said. She's finally free of you. Don't you dare try to drag her back into your misery. But the magazine, he started. The magazine is her victory. Nadia cut him off. Not yours. She did this despite you, not because of you. Leave her alone. There was a click as Nadia hung up. The father slowly lowered the phone. He stared at the wall, his chest tight. Dead to her. The words echoed in the silent apartment. He walked back to the desk. His eyes fell on a small, leather-bound journal lying open. He hadn't looked at it in years. His own handwriting filled the page. Dated 20 years ago. He read the words he had written then. Her face is a shame. She'll never amount to anything. She is a disgrace. He slammed the journal shut. The words felt like a punch to the gut now. He had written them. He had believed them. And he had spoken them to his daughter. He paced again, running a hand through his thinning hair. He had to do something. He couldn't just let this go. He had to see her, to apologize in person. He spent the next few days trying to find out where she was. He asked old neighbors, distant relatives. No one knew, or perhaps they did and just wouldn't tell him. His reputation in the neighborhood wasn't good. People remembered how he treated his daughter. Then he saw an article online. Layla Hassan was in Cairo for a photo shoot at a studio downtown. He felt a surge of desperate hope. This was his chance. He put on his best, though still worn, suit. He bought a bouquet of jasmine flowers, her favorite. He took a taxi downtown, the city traffic a blur outside the window. He found the studio building. It was large, modern, with a sleek glass facade. A bodyguard stood by the entrance. "Excuse me," the father said, approaching the bodyguard. "I'm here to see Layla Hassan. I'm her father." The bodyguard, a tall man with a stern face, looked him up and down. "Layla Hassan is working," he said flatly. "She's not seeing anyone. But I'm her father," he repeated, holding up the bouquet. "I just want to give her these and talk to her for a moment." "You can leave the flowers," the bodyguard said, holding out a hand. "But you can't go in." The father hesitated. He couldn't just leave the flowers. He needed to see her face, to speak to her. He tried to step past the bodyguard. "Please," he said. "It's important. It's important." The bodyguard put a hand on his chest, stopping him. "Sir, you need to leave. You're disrupting the work." A few people entering the building stopped to watch. Whispers started. Someone recognized him from the viral video. "It's the beggar father," a woman murmured. The father felt his face burn. He lowered the flowers slightly. He saw movement inside the glass doors. People were looking, taking out their phones. He pushed past the bodyguard with sudden strength. "Layla," he shouted. "Layla, it's me." The bodyguard grabbed his arm, pulling him back. A struggle ensued. The bouquet fell, the jasmine flowers scattering on the pavement. Inside, the doors opened. Layla stepped out, surrounded by her team. She looked even more stunning in person, dressed in a flowing white gown. The cameras flashed. She paused, looking towards the commotion at the entrance. Her eyes met his. For a fleeting second, he saw a flicker of recognition. Then her face became a mask of indifference. "Who is that man?" she asked her bodyguard, her voice calm, distant. "No one, miss," the bodyguard said, tightening his grip on the father's arm. "Just another fan trying to get in." Layla nodded and turned away, stepping into a waiting black car. The car pulled away, disappearing into the traffic. The father stood there, the bodyguard still holding him. The scattered jasmine flowers lay crushed on the ground. He felt a wave of nausea. He had come all this way, made a fool of himself, and she had looked right through him. Later that day, footage of the incident at the studio went viral. News outlets picked it up. Headlines screamed, "Vogue star's beggar father causes scene. Disgraced father tries to crash daughter's photo shoot." He sat in his apartment, watching the news reports on his small television. His face, distorted by the camera angles, was everywhere. The journalist on the screen spoke about his past cruelty, citing anonymous sources who remembered how he treated his daughter. "Sources confirm Layla Hassan changed her name to escape this monster," the journalist said. The father muted the TV. He felt a tightness in his chest. His head swam. He reached for a glass of water, but his hand shook, spilling it. He knew his health hadn't been good. The stress, the lack of sleep, the constant gnawing guilt he refused to face. He felt a sharp pain in his chest. He gasped, clutching his shirt. He stumbled towards the phone, but his legs gave out. He collapsed onto the floor, the magazine cover with Layla's smiling face lying nearby. Days later, he woke up in a hospital bed. The sterile smell, the beeping of machines. His head ached. He saw his wife sitting by the bed, her face grim. They hadn't spoken in years. "Layla sent this," she said, her voice flat. She held up a thick envelope. It had the logo of a law firm. The father's heart sank. He took the envelope with a trembling hand. He opened it. Inside were legal documents. A lawsuit. Layla Hassan was suing him for harassment. A restraining order. He was forbidden from contacting her, from coming near her. He dropped the paper papers. They scattered on the white hospital sheets. His own daughter suing him. He closed his eyes, tears leaking from the corners. This was it. All hope was lost. He had driven her away completely. He had made his bed, and now he lay in it, alone and broken. The father lay back against the hospital pillows. The legal papers lay scattered on the thin blanket. His wife sat beside the bed, silent, her face turned towards the window. The rhythmic beeping of the heart monitor filled the room. She is there, sweet. She sued me, the father whispered, his voice raspy. His wife didn't look at him. What did you expect? She said, her voice flat. I just wanted to talk to her, he said, to tell her I was sorry. Sorry doesn't fix 20 years, his wife said. Sorry doesn't erase the names you called her. Sorry doesn't bring back a girl who ran away because she couldn't stand to be in the same room as you. He closed his eyes. The pain in his chest was a dull ache now, constant. The pain in his heart was sharper. He remembered Layla as a child, her bright eyes, her quick smile. He remembered the day he had looked at her and seen only failure. A nurse came in, checked the machines, adjusted his IV drip. She glanced at the papers on the bed. Trouble? She asked, her tone gentle. The father just shook his head. His wife stood up. I should go, she said. There's nothing more to say. Don't go, he said quickly. Please. She paused at the door. You made your choices, she said, and she made hers. She walked out, closing the door softly behind her. He was alone again. The beeping continued. He looked at the magazine on the bedside table. Layla's face. He picked it up, his hand shaking. He traced her smile. He had done that. He had put that mask there, the mask of perfection, of untouchable beauty. It hid the little girl he had broken. He thought about the video he had posted, the public humiliation. It hadn't worked. It had only made things worse. He was the villain in her story, the monster. He put the magazine down. He looked at his reflection in the dark phone screen beside it. His face was pale, drawn, old. He looked like a stranger. He picked up the phone. His fingers fumbled with the screen. He opened the camera app. He pointed it at his face. He took a deep breath. Layla, he said, his voice trembling. It's me, your father. He paused, trying to find the words. I saw you on the magazine. You're beautiful, more beautiful than I ever imagined. He swallowed hard. I called you disgrace, ... I called you ugly. Those were lies. Those were lies. The disgrace was me. My words were ugly. Tears welled in his eyes, blurring the screen. I was weak, afraid. I saw something in you that I didn't have. Strength, 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 the whole world. But it's not without continuous resilience. Resilience. And I tried to break it. He wiped his eyes with the back of his hand. I failed. You didn't break. You soared. He took another shaky breath. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't deserve it. But I needed you to know. I see you now. Not the disgrace I named. Not the icon the world sees. Just Layla, my daughter. He stared at the screen for a moment, his reflection staring back. He hit the upload button. The video began to send. He dropped the phone back onto the table, exhausted. He closed his eyes. The beeping of the monitor seemed to grow louder. The next morning, a nurse came in with his breakfast tray. She glanced at her phone, then looked at him, her eyes wide. Sir, she said, her voice hushed. Your video is very special. It's everywhere. He opened his eyes. He saw her holding her phone, his face on the screen. Comments were scrolling past rapidly. News channels picked up the story. His video played on repeat. The beggar father's confession. The public apology. The internet was divided. Some praised his honesty. Others condemned him for waiting too long. In Paris, Layla sat in a brightly lit studio. Makeup artists fussing around her. Her agent stood nearby, scrolling through her tablet, a frown on her face. Layla, the agent said, her voice tight. You need to see this. She turned the tablet towards Layla. His face filled the screen. His voice, raw with emotion, spoke the words of apology. Layla watched, her expression unreadable. The makeup artist paused, brush in hand. The room fell silent. When the video ended, Layla looked away. She picked up a tube of lipstick, examining the color. Cancel my Cairo show, she said, her voice calm. The agent stared at her. Is that all? Layla met her gaze. He had his chance. 20 years of chances. Later that day, the agent posted a brief statement on Layla's official social media. Layla Hassan is focusing on her work. Her name is Layla, not disgrace, not icon, just Layla. A few days later, a courier arrived at the hospital. He carried a flat, heavy package. He handed it to the nurse at the station. For the patient in room 302, he said. From Layla Hassan, the nurse took the package to the father's room. He was asleep. She placed it on the bedside table. When he woke, he saw the package. He recognized the courier service logo. His heart pounded. He reached for for it, his hands trembling. He opened the package. Inside, wrapped in tissue paper, were sheets of paper, laminated. He lifted one. It was a page from his old journal. His own handwriting stared back at him. Her face is a shame. She'll never amount to anything. She is a disgrace. He lifted another and another. Every cruel entry he had written about her preserved under plastic. A stack of laminated shame. At the bottom of the box, there was a small card, also laminated. In elegant script, it read, "You taught me words, Kadibist. Here's your knife back. Here's your knife back." He stared at the card, then at the stack of laminated pages. His own words, returned to him, made permanent, unforgettable. He clutched the pages to his chest. A sharp, searing pain shot through him. The heart monitor began to beep frantically. Nurses rushed in. "What's happening?" the nurse cried. The father gasped, his eyes wide, fixed on the laminated pages in his hand. His grip tightened. "Layla," he whispered, the sound barely audible above the alarms. The beeping became a long, continuous tone. The doctor arrived, checked the monitor, then looked at the nurse. He reached for the father's wrist. He gently tried to pry the laminated pages from the father's grasp. The father's fingers were locked around them. On the bedside table, the Vogue magazine lay open to Layla's cover, her face serene, a picture of perfect, untouchable beauty.